Hey there guys, what is up? It's me, Harry Sandberg, back here with a brand new video, and welcome back to the channel where today I'm doing a non-spoiler review of Spider-Man No Way Home. This film was everything that I wanted it to be and more, with this film being a Marvel cinematic experience that not only rewards fans with an action-packed story, but also incredible visuals, heart-pounding emotion, and a satisfying ending for the Homecoming trilogy. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Fans of the Raimi trilogy and the Web duology will be pleased to know that the villains have not lost a single step, while also making improvements to their designs, mainly Jamie Foxx, who looks 100% better and more comic accurate as Electro. All the performances are amazing between all the actors respectively. I loved seeing all the various interactions between them, whether it was just one character talking to another, or all of them as one collective unit. The de-aging looked solid for characters such as Molina and Dafoe, making it seem as though they literally time jumped right out of the early 2000s, and it was a great touch. Speaking of design, the character design of each outfit was amazing. The costumes were great, the CGI for Lizard and Sandman was great, and thank you Marvel and Sony for doing the character of Electro right. And honestly, the MVP of this movie has to be Willem Dafoe. He is the perfect Green Goblin even 19 years later, and his performance is as haunting as ever. Plus, he got a nice upgrade in his outfit, making it more reminiscent of his comic book look. If you thought the visuals of Far From Home were great, this film steps it up in a big way. The mind-bending visuals of Doctor Strange make for great set pieces, and as seen in the trailers, the Strange and Peter clash was personally one of my favorite moments in the film just because of the visuals alone, along with the utilization of the environment. I touched on the designs of the villains, but I also wanted to mention how great the effects looked for the various different weapons and arsenals that each villain uniquely had. For example, Doc Ock's arms, while not puppets in this film like they were in Sam Raimi's original Spider-Man 2, were perfectly designed based off the original puppets. Sandman's movements looked so fluid, Lizard looked more detailed and scaly, Electro isn't blue and I'm thankful for that along with his electricity, and Green Goblin's glider and pumpkin bombs were a nice added touch of nostalgia. All of this accumulates in the final battle, which I will touch on later. To make this easy on me, I'm going to break this film down into its 3 acts. Like most Marvel movies, the first act can be a bit slow, and while there were a few points like this in the beginning, I personally didn't mind them considering the film managed to re-engage me with what was going on and pick itself right back up. Well, here we are again. So I got back from seeing my second viewing of No Way Home about, I want to say, 33 minutes ago, and what I just said about the first act being slow, yeah, ignore that. The first act was so good, it set up the story so well, everything moved at a great pace. I really liked how they showcased the aftermath that occurred in Far From Home, and I really like the journey that Peter took from that point to having to go to the Second Sanctorum to meet Doctor Strange. And then, of course, Act 2 was the peak of character development and character relationships. And then, actually, you know what? I'm gonna let my past self explain the rest. Enjoy. Especially with the action sequences that followed. Act 2 is where stuff truly begins to pick up in terms of the relationships between Peter and the villains, as well as between the villains themselves. There is some great character work here, along with brutal action and gut-wrenching emotion. Act 3, like I said, this is a non-spoiler review, but all I'm going to say is that this is personally one of my favorite third acts of not just any Spider-Man movie, but of any Marvel movie, period. It was a cinematic spectacle, and it makes the whole experience worth it. And then, of course, throughout all 3 acts, there is so much heart and light-hearted humor, along with details and Easter eggs scattered throughout to make any Spider fan, like myself, very happy. This movie does not skip a beat with its dialogue. Each interaction, no matter who is involved, was on point and very well written. I was sometimes lost in the fact that I was seeing all these villains have some form of interaction with one another. Even if the interactions were short, they were so great. MJ, Ned, and Peter's interactions are always great thanks to the actors, with Jacob being so cheerful and humorous, Zendaya bringing the same energy as she has for the past couple of films, which is so funny, and, of course, Tom Holland showing us why he is the best Peter Parker and Spider-Man. Peter and Doctor Strange also had some great moments too, with Strange taking on that authoritative mentor role like Tony before him. Plus, Benedict always brings it when he plays Doctor Strange. Wong, while briefly seen, shows why he's one of the funniest characters in the MCU, and it makes me excited for more Benedict Wong in the future, especially in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. This also goes for May and Happy too. Whether it's them on screen together or interacting with another actor, they give it their all, and I could not ask for more. Michael Giacchino's score in this film is phenomenal, and he is such a great composer. Along with his own score, which I'm definitely going to be re-listening to, long-time Spidey fans will be able to catch some subtle and less subtle nods towards famous character theme songs from the past films. Not only does this bring life back into the villains, but it just reminds us how menacing these bad guys were then, and how much more terrifying they are now. Damn. What an ending for the Homecoming trilogy. After the final battle, which is truly a cinematic experience in itself, I feel as though the film gives Peter the ending that he deserves before they pick it right back up in Spider-Man 4, which Kevin Feige has confirmed is in active development. The film also sets up the future of the multiverse in a big way, and I'm so excited to see what form that takes in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. The emotion is also there too. Past Spidey films have either ended with triumphance or gut-wrenching emotion. This feels like a mix of both in my opinion, but I love it because it just shows how far Peter has come ever since we were first introduced to him in Civil War. If I had to sum up the end credit scenes of No Way Home in a single phrase, it would be, oh my god. All I can say is that there are two post-credit scenes, and both of them set up very interesting stories in the future of the MCU, and personally, these are some of my favorite post-credit scenes that Marvel has ever done. My anticipation for this film has heightened after every single credible thing that has been released, whether it was the casting, the trailers, the images, any of it. This is by far my favorite Spider-Man movie, and honestly my favorite MCU movie at this very moment in time. The return of the classic villains is a nostalgic joyride which I was happy to be a part of, and seeing all these incredible actors back together to reprise their roles was amazing and brought back some fond memories. The actors give it 110%, especially Tom Holland, who I think gives such an outstanding performance as Peter Parker, and is honestly one of his best performances ever. I was invested from beginning to end with the action, the story, the visuals, the acting. All of it was wrapped up in one perfect web, and there is nothing about this film that I would change. This is a cinematic experience that can only truly be experienced in a theater full of fans, and I promise you won't be disappointed. And that is my review. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure you go down below, let me know your thoughts on this film and where it ranks for you in terms of all the Spider-Man movies. If you have not seen this movie yet, go book a ticket right now and go see it, because I promise you, like I just said, you will not be disappointed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to get notified of my future uploads, and join the Nerd Notification Squad. And I see you guys in the next video. Peace.